Hey folks, Rich Heilman here, developer advocate at SAP, and I'm with Sandra Solis, my good friend, Abap developer, and YouTube star, right?
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Really appreciate you being here. We're going to do an Ask Me Anything session here today. And yeah, so let's just jump into it, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself other than your name?
Yeah, for those who maybe don't know me, I am Sandra Solis. I'm from Mexico. I am an SAP champion. And this month we are in the third season of Ask Me Anything. And here I have my host, and here I am.
Yep. All right. Well, let's jump into it then, right? I have some notes here. Well, first one. Which topics or tags would you recommend subscribing to on the community.sap.com website in order to receive the most relevant input on the following areas? Classic ABAP, ABAP Cloud, RAP, performance tuning, clean core, debugging.
Out of hashtags or something like that, I prefer in the community is a section called developers, and you can find tutorials and forums specialized by topic. So you can find the topic you want to learn. Also, the Devtoberfest. That's my favorite contest with a lot of information, a lot of learning journeys. So that's my recommendation for the community, Devtoberfest, and in the community section, developers, tutorials, and forums.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great start. Don't forget the SAP Developers YouTube channel where we're always putting out new content, basically on a weekly basis as well. Next question for a newcomer to the SAP world or the ABAP world. What would be the best resources you would recommend to get started? Probably hit on that with the same information as the last question with SAP community, SAP developers, YouTube channel, and all that good stuff. But anything to add to that?
SAP Learning
SAP
is
Learning.
a resource that I love. SAP Learning, the journeys, of course, community, Devtoberfest, and developer tutorials, the YouTube channel of developer tutorials, and also my YouTube channel,
Of course.
Abaper in Spanish
Mhm.
for Spanish speakers. Yeah.
Yep. Well, how good is your experience working with AI tools in the ABAP space? And what would you recommend? And so we're a little early in that right now. Have you had any experience with it other than today?
Um, yes, with the Eclipse and ADT tools and the Joule, and with the Code Jam we had last year and this year. And yeah, how Rich said, it's early to talk about it, but it's really, for me, it's so promising. And I think we can improve better or improve our job doing more with less.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can wait for this future and these new tools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna ship the new AI tooling for ABAP in VS Code here, maybe tomorrow, maybe later in June. But we will have a more AI assisted experience within VS Code. I've been working with it already, and it's looking pretty good. So, what best practices and things to know about modern ways of developing ABAP?
There are the same best practices that we used to do in the old Abap, but also clean core. We need to focus and learn a lot about clean core because this time in cloud it switched really different, and it's not the same way we are used to code or to solve problems.
Yeah.
So
We're used to being able to do anything we want.
yeah, and
Whereas this is a little bit more restrictive and rightfully so. And of course, learning RAP and the RESTful application programming model is of course something that you definitely want to take a hold of and learn about, as that is the modern way to create ABAP applications going forward. What topics could help us stay current to improve our ABAP skills?
first, RESTful applications, CAP, build, generative AI is really important generative AI and rap. I think those two knowledge or skills are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I
Yeah.
missed something.
No, I mean, I would definitely recommend staying up on the wrap topic as we're continuing to invest in that, as well as the AI tools, um, specifically around using GitHub Copilot and VS Code to create your ABAP applications. Stay up to date on those things because those are what are going to drive whatever you're going to be doing for the next few years, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So what skills do you think are essential for coding nowadays? Well, it goes back to the previous questions. I think, again, RAP, the RESTful Application Programming Model, is essential. If you haven't touched that at all, you must get out there on the trial and touch that. And the AI tools that will be shipping later in June and later this year, definitely something you're going to want to take a hold of. How do you find time or inspiration to stay updated on Abap while working and making content for SAP?
Mm, Well, in my daily work, I find problems, I solve them, and I think this is a good topic to share with my followers, to share with the people, because it's a bug I fix it or a problem I fix it, and I didn't found anything related, and it's like I will share what I did. That's my first inspiration. The work I do every day, and the time, and that is just organizing my schedule. But yeah, it's like that.
My experience was similar to that. 20, 04, 05, 06 time frame. I was heavily into answering questions in the community, and that's really how I learned, right?
Yeah.
They would ask a question, I would have no idea, how to do that. I would go and do it, learn, and then go back and share what I've learned, and that, the rest is history. But that's how
Yeah.
I was able to stay current and learn, continuously learn, is basically just answering other people's questions for and knowing for myself, and
Yeah.
that was inspiring for me to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, also that's a good point because many people ask me something and I that's give me ideas about what is people wondering or what they are struggling, and that give me ideas too. Yeah, the community, my work, and sometimes free time make me creative.
Yeah, awesome. There's a lot of discussion about AI potentially replacing developers. That's a big topic these days. From your experience in SAP, how do you see AI actually impacting ABAP developers in the coming years, and what should we focus on to stay relevant?
Well, AI is a new topic, a new tooling, and it will be so relevant in the next years. We can do, as we said in the first question, it's early to talk about, but it will impact so much. But here we have to reach to help with
Yeah,
this.
yeah. My feelings on it is that we are definitely uh, in the midst of a huge change, and that includes ABAP developers. Um, we all need to focus on the AI topic going forward because that is what we're going to use going forward. I really do think that the future of software development lies with agentic coding. I didn't think that way a few weeks ago, but now I do, based on some of the projects that I've gone through over the last 4 weeks or so. So I really do think that ABAP developers especially should make sure that they're up on the topic of using AI, GitHub Copilot and VS Code going forward to, to write applications in a very quick and efficient way. But yeah, we all need to make sure we're paying attention to this going forward. Yep. I've seen other developers do ABAP development on Eclipse and Eclipse with ADT tools. Is there an equivalent for Visual Studio Code? Yes, there is. Yes, we will ship that in June. For ABAP, when working on Fiori Elements apps, you create some CDS views with annotations. Then on the Fiori side, we can also do equivalent things. When should we do some in ABAP as opposed to when we should do it in Fiori?
I think is a bit confused because Fiori is, as I see, and if I am wrong, you can correct me, but it's the team together. We have the backend that is the CDS, the other things, the CDS, the views, the everything, and the front end Fiori that makes the application visible for the user. So there's no a CDS similar for Fiori. Fiori consumes that CDS, so
Right.
it's they work together.
Right.
We can separate them. So it's yeah, it's a teamwork.
Yep.
So it's backend and front end, and together do the application.
Yep. And if the question here was leaning towards, well, I can do something with a CDS annotation without having to break out into a custom SAP UI5 extension, then yes, what we want you to do going forward is using annotations to the point that where you can't use annotations anymore. And if the annotations don't satisfy your requirement, then of course you can break out into Fiori elements and break out of Fiori elements and go directly into SAP UI5 extensions as well. So all of that is there for you. But yes, CDS is going to be your go-to as far as UI annotations first to build the UI. Yep.
Yep.
What recommendations or suggestions do you have for Fiori developers to help or coordinate with Abap developers to achieve a successful delivery? You mentioned that we have the backend developers and the UI developers, and sometimes maybe they don't talk to each other, maybe, right? Maybe
Yeah.
the UI people just only want to know what services are you exposing that I can consume, and that's it.
Yeah.
What have you seen in your practice where the back end and the front end
Pues
can really be a team?
it's a work together, the team, and constant communication. Sometimes I don't know why our profiles is like we don't talk each other. So I just recommend that when you are in a team, you need to know the team. You need to know what the other does, and the communication is crucial for this. There's not a key or a secret um, advice. It's just work together, work in team, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Next section here, what is the difference between exposing an OData API using a service definition as service binding versus the traditional approach of using gateway services? In practice, I've noticed that when using service bindings, pagination is automatically enabled, which is very convenient. That's a good statement. Um, I would say I can start on this one first. The difference between exposing an OData service in the wrap framework and exposing it in the gateway framework are basically or essentially the same. The last programming model before the RESTful application programming model was the Abap programming model for SAP Fiori, which did use gateway as its infrastructure to expose OData services. With wrap, now that's built into the wrap framework itself. So you don't have to have a separate gateway server or anything like that. So it's all combined into one. So that's one major difference there.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing else to add.
Okay.
He
Then
explained
let's
it.
move on then. Let's see, what else here? In scenarios where ERP transactions or SAP GUI already exists, how can those transactions be reused or adapted for Fiori? Or what happens with the concept of Z transactions in this context?
Um, it's more standardized and modern, and we have more tools for developers. Is what I can say.
Yeah. If with moving from SAP GUI based transactions to Fiori, um, basically what we're doing is service enabling um, the transaction from your S4HANA system, ECC system, or whatever. Service enabling that via OData and then consuming that in Fiori. So it's a matter of rewriting your old applications for wrap,
Yep.
hopefully, and exposing those as OData and then throwing SAP Fiori elements UI on top. Let's see here. I've had meetings with several SAP providers, and they frequently mention tools such as SAP Build, which is a low-code drag and drop experience, Joule, CAP, which is cloud application programming model with JavaScript, etc. Right? They often say that Abap has a steep learning curve and that newer generations are less interested in learning it. My question is there any clear sign that SAP plans to eliminate Abap in the future, or does it remain a strategic language? From my standpoint, we've talked about this for 25 years or so. Is Abap dead? My answer is no, because Abap is running 80% of the world's transactions um, across the entire globe. Um, the code base is solid, it's stable, and there's no reason to rewrite millions of lines of code. So Abap will be there as a service provider for quite some time, in my opinion. Um, Now, that is not to say that things won't change considerably with the new agentic coding and things like that. Definitely will. But I can say that at least, at the very least, the ABAP side will still always be there for the back-end processes and serving up those processes for consumption on the UI.
Yep.
Yep. Here's another one. I currently work a lot with RAP, and in some cases, I find it easier to use AMDP with SQL script to avoid having too much logic inside the transactions. What recommendations would you give to ensure these types of solutions remain scalable and maintainable? I don't think we should really be dropping to AMDP or SQL script procedures and HANA as a go-to right away. Because the ABAP language has been um, optimized to run on HANA in such a way, we have those components within the ABAP language to force HANA to process more efficiently. So I don't think we have to drop into AMDP unless we have to specifically drop into SQL script to do something that is specific to HANA. For example, like if you wanted to hit the PAL library, predictive analytics library in HANA, perhaps you're dropping to SQL script to do that. But I see no reason to do that straight out of the box if you don't have to. So I think the best practice would first try to use CDS for whatever you're doing. And then ABAP would be the next step, whatever the case may be there. And then only dropping to SQL script when you absolutely have to. That would be my recommendation. What is the difference between developing a Fiori application directly in the ERP versus developing a CAP application on BTP?
That's a good question, and that's not my topic. So
Okay,
if
let
you
me try
can
to take this one. Well, the difference is if you're developing a Fiori application directly on the ERP, basically what you're doing is you're deploying your SAP UI5 or Fiori application to the ABAP repository,
Yep.
and it's saving it, or basically it's a BSP, a business server page. So that's how that works. On the CAP side, it's different. It's not an ABAP system. It's the cloud application programming model and JavaScript, right? It would be just a regular SAP UI5 application using JavaScript and that stuff. So those are the differences. One is a BSP and one is deployed in BTP as opposed to the ABAP server itself.
Yep.
This last question, the person says, I have 9 years of experience in ABAP, but sometimes I feel like I don't have much knowledge as my colleagues. I get that all the time. Sometimes I feel like my colleagues are way ahead of me.
Yeah,
So I
same
get that.
feeling here.
I'm not really sure where to take my professional career next. What would you recommend?
Well, if you are ABAP developer, I recommend RESTful application, RAP, generative AI, and build, SAP build.
And the new Joule Studio when that comes around at the
Oh
end of the
yeah.
year. For me, I think now we're at a point to where we all need to investigate agentic coding as much as we can, because I do believe that that is the future of software development. It probably doesn't make me a popular person right now with some, but I see it. I see the vision. I see where it needs to go. And if it does go there, I think all of our jobs change quite a bit. It's important to understand how to articulate what you want the AI to do for you, um, so that it does it right the first time, as opposed to having to keep iterating over something. But the skill becomes, how do I best talk to the AI so that I get what I want in a most efficient way without
Yeah.
having to create bugs or spaghetti code or anything like that. So if I had to say to any developer out there, whether it's Abap, CAP, whatever, doesn't matter what it is anymore, I think we all need to look at the agentic side and see how AI is going to be able to help us create these applications with natural language, as opposed to getting in there and handwriting the code. You know?
Yeah, but also don't get frustrated, because this feeling is like everybody is learning, everybody is taking advantage of the new tools, the new ways to coding, and we see SAP make more and more and more improvements, and it's a lot of things. So and that feeling, we have that feeling all the time. No, you are not the only one, so stay calm and
Stay calm.
yeah, and take your journey with the new tools, agentic AI. I recommend first RESTful applications, generative AI, and then agentic AI.
Yep. Yeah, so that's all the questions we have this time. It was a great session. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us, and thanks for doing it. Appreciate it. And see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.